this thing looping? Hey everybody, how you guys how you guys doing? Can you guys hear me out there in the chat? Are we live now? We had a little hiccup. Second. Says no voice.
No voice.
How about now? Do we have voice now? You know, it wouldn't be a podcast if we didn't have a
No
technical.
voice.
How about now? Do we have voice now? You know, it wouldn't be a
Yep, I can hear it in the feed.
if we didn't have a technical.
No voice.
All
right.
Do we have voice now?
Looks like crisis is averted.
I can hear
We're
it in the
doing
feed.
some damage control here.
All
right.
Do we have voice now?
Looks like
Hey everybody, how you guys doing? Can you hear me now? Voice check, voice check.
all right. Stand by. Chatters, if somebody will give us an all clear that we've got both of our voices. Can you hear me now? Oh, that takes me back, especially seeing it with the
Verizon.
yellow background.
They say no.
They say no.
Okay.
Fish Tanks Aquatic also says no.
Okay. How about now? Do we have?
Okay, they can hear me, so that's good.
Yes.
So whatever's going on is definitely on your voice.
How about now? This is weird. I don't understand why they can't hear me. You could hear me though, right?
Lightly. They said lightly they can hear you.
Light.
Not much.
What the
Is your gain real low
No.
on the mic?
No, my gain is up.
Volume not clear.
How about now?
Check your mic source. Are you on the wrong mic?
No, I am not on the wrong mic. That's what I'm checking right now. Oh, this is crazy. Mic?
Very strange.
Very, very strange. Hello. Is it
But
better? Hello, hello, hello. Can they hear me now?
come on, chat. Give us a little bit of feedback. You still can't hear him very well.
Hello. How about now? Hello, hello, hello.
Very lightly, Fish
Very
Tank
lightly.
says.
Okay, hang on. Fish Tank Aquatics, thanks for tuning in. Just hang on 1 second.
Yep.
And we'll see what
Oh wow. You just boosted way up.
Did I really?
Yeah. I actually had to pull you down on my interface. You got way boosted.
I did, huh? How about now? Let's see. Hello, hello, hello. No. Can't hear me now? How about now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you so much better. I hope the chat can too.
That's what I'm worried about. There you go, they say.
Yep. What happened? Was it a source issue?
No, it was not a source issue. I'm at a complete loss, to be honest with you, as to what it was. Hopefully, it sounds better now. Still, am I still boosted?
Cool.
Am I still boosted?
Yeah, you sound so much clearer.
That is crazy. Anyhow, guys, welcome to today's podcast. I'm Alex, and of course, we have Jesse here with us. Boy, oh boy, do we have a doozy to talk about today. I'm going to tell you right now that honestly, in my mindset, the biggest elephant in the room that is going on right now could possibly be the tech community's biggest letdown in a long, long time.
Yeah, yeah. So I wanna take a second and address our show description real quick.
Yes, that definitely needs to be done.
Um, so here's what we understood. We were following the Linus Tech Tips debacle as we knew it, and we came when we prepared the show description. We had thrown a link to an AI generated song using Linus's voice because we knew about the deal with, the bad testing and the video cards and stuff. We were not aware of the very, very serious allegations that are now coming to light. And so we've left the link to the song, but we're not going to play the video
Right.
because
We just
it's
didn't.
it is not in good
It's not
taste.
in good
We're
taste or
not
good
going to make
form, right?
No, no, no. We're not going to be making jokes with the allegations of what appears to have happened with Madison. So, out
Yeah,
of respect
because
for them,
and also
we're
actually
not going to play it.
in retrospect too, I don't think that I mean, I know that Madison came out with her allegations the other day, but
Mhm.
when Gamers Nexus, Steve Burt did his initial thing, he was actually just talking about the um how do you want to put it, the actual erroneous data and findings that they were doing on their testing and stuff, and
Right.
how he had discovered all these flaws in what they were doing. I don't think that he in any way, shape, or form knew of any of this stuff. And it's like he just pricked the balloon with a pin, and instead of it just like weeping air out, it just like literally exploded. It was like the tip of the
Yeah.
iceberg.
It's one of those situations where the more you scrutinize and inspect what appears to be going on, things are now just coming out of the woodwork. So, we weren't there. We don't know what actually happened. We're just trying to report with
What facts are
facts,
available?
and, you know, just making jokes right now is not appropriate. So we're going to pass on the video.
Correct. The
On
first
on the on the AI joke video. Let me be specific.
the first thing that I think I don't know how many people actually know. I mean, like
Yeah.
who was it? I
Alex,
think.
go ahead and catch him up. I definitely think that Gamer Meld has a very different take on this
Well,
than
yeah, but he's
Gamer
focusing
Nexus
on
did.
he's focusing on the latter aspect. To
Right.
start it from the beginning, you're talking about uh, Gamers Nexus did a video where first off, Gamers Nexus is very factual. They have um a very advanced lab that they do their testing with and stuff. And so they tested a lot of the same stuff that LTT did, and they've had different findings. Also, from what I understand, and from what Gamers Nexus, described in his video and showed in his video, he went through several different videos of the different things that the labs did, and found not only charts that were wrong, but also missteps in the video where they're like plumbing things backwards, and they're doing wire connections and configurations that are in a PC build that were just not appropriate.
Right.
And stuff that the non-lay person would actually not notice, but an actual true layman would notice.
Mhm.
And so he kind of called him out on that. And so what's happened is it drew a lot of attention, and
Mhm.
the biggest thing was the billet block build that they did, where LTT had a prototype block that is a water cooled block for both GPU and CPU in one. And it was pretty customized. It's pretty cool looking. And when you look at it, it's pretty cool. But
Totally.
LTT completely, kind of poo-pooed on it, because at the end he's, what he did is, it was supposed to be for a 3090 graphics
Mhm.
card. He didn't have one on
If you
hand.
watch the review, I mean, it did not appear that he had, kind things to say. He kind of slammed it.
Yeah, in the end, he absolutely did. And the thing is, he did it on he did it on a 4090, when it was actually told to him by the actual Billet Labs that it needs to be a 3090 card. And so the temperatures that they got on it and stuff were arguably erroneous, although LTT stated in the video that they were also told it could potentially work on a 4090. So in his
Right.
mindset, the way he's justifying it through his response is that he was told it could work potentially on a 4090, and he did that testing for them, and it failed. And that's where he justified it in his mindset.
Right.
But then other people brought up, including part of his team, brought up, hey, we need to retest it with the 3090. Why not just grab a 3090 and retest it and show those results as well? And that's
Mhm.
when he said, for the price of whatever it is, it doesn't much matter. It's overpriced or whatever. And
And
kind of poo-pooed on
I'm
it.
a yeah, I wanna jump in here with you, and I think that he is big enough. He spends crazy amounts of money for videos all the time.
Mm-hmm.
As somebody who's watched him for a long time, I was disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
And just as this whole spotlight on Linus continues to unfold,
Mm-hmm.
I am I am very, very disappointed in ways that I wasn't prepared to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it's all of these things coming out
Oh, it's so
they're
much.
not good. It's hard to watch,
It
you
is.
know.
It's so much. And like, I know some people are probably blowing us up in the comments and stuff like that.
Mm.
But the
And that's
truth,
fine. We're here to chat.
yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to sweep it under the rug, and I'm not trying to make light of any of it. I'm
Mm.
I'm just trying to get out there that what he did is definitely wrong. The way that he's owned it is wrong, and
Yeah,
that
if you watch the so-called apology videos, I don't think it's a good look.
no, not at all. And for me, with the whole thing, the way he slammed that Billet was actually kind of a small company. They're not a startup, but they're
Right,
doing,
Linus
they're
is
trying to
big
get better.
enough.
Yeah, it probably crushed him. And then to add insult to injury, he sold the block, but or auctioned
let's
it,
correct that
actually
there. They
auctioned it,
auctioned it.
yeah.
Mhm.
And
Now,
and
I'm
it
gonna
was,
borrow a loose quote from the, uh, Gamer Meld video
mm-hmm,
that you and I were watching this morning before our show today.
mm-hmm,
And, they made a point and said that, functionally, more or less, auctioning and selling are the same thing, and I'm gonna agree with that. Wherever the money went,
mm-hmm,
the block was traded for money and
absolutely.
did not go back where it was supposed to go. So, if you want, I'm gonna carefully say this.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like an attempt to use the word charity to sweep under the rug the fact that it didn't get returned.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
I kind of got that sense of feeling as well. Although I do know
Yeah.
that there was some charity done at that, because it was been reported that there was some charity done at that auction. So
Oh, yeah, I don't doubt that charity was done, that's not the
yeah,
point,
but yeah, I know. I
but it
mean, he brought
makes
that to
charity
limelight.
look
Yeah.
bad, like it's more like a misappropriation, like, "Hey, maybe if we say it's charity, they'll stop, maybe they'll leave us alone." I don't know what his mindset was,
Hmm.
but the look is bad.
Oh, absolutely. 100%
Optics
all the way
are
around
terrible.
on everything. And like, so with all that happening, like I said, it's just the tip of the iceberg, and so much more is devolved. out of it. Just like, overnight, the gamer meld video came out that had the actual leaked audio that him and he had a meeting at I believe it was the day after she had left or resigned, right?
That appears to be the context that this leaked
Correct.
audio is framed in, yeah.
Yeah,
It
and
seems like it's
understand.
right after the timeline of when Madison left, and, our you know, we wanna give, our condolences to Madison and
Absolutely.
hope that she's being taken care of and that this gets made right in whatever way it can be,
Hmm.
you know?
It just to
If these things happen, you know, I have been a fan of Linus for a long time, but if it comes out that the allegations are true, he should be held accountable.
absolutely, absolutely, and it's not in a way, and I'm not trying to sound um minimalist in any way, shape, or form, but I think that um it surprises me that something like this hasn't kind of, as big as he is. I mean, it happens with almost every large corporation, where things like this come out, missteps, that kind of stuff
Yeah.
come out, and it really surprises me that it's taken this long. But then again, he did keep, according to some of the allegations, he kept a lot of stuff real close to the hip,
Mhm.
through I remember in some of the documentation that I read on on Miss Madison's stuff, that she
Mhm.
was thinking that there was an NDA in place, a non-disclosure act in place. So I think a lot of the employees are made to feel that way.
Yeah, I don't wanna comment on that. I mean, other than I've worked places with NDAs, I've
Mm-hmm.
worked places with implied NDAs,
Mm-hmm.
and, if you have that over your head, it's
Mm-hmm.
entirely possible to feel powerless in a
Absolutely.
lot of different situations. So, again, I hope that whatever she experienced, it's made right to whatever extent it can be, because this is a bombshell. It's a disappointment.
Across the board, I think so many people in the actual tech space are just rocked to the core on
Yeah,
this.
I was not prepared to be, you know, waking up to what we found this morning, and I'm glad we're talking about it now while while it's coming out.
Me
You
too. It's
Linus is huge, and just
and that's the thing.
he did pave the way for tech reviews and, some of the stunt builds, and he was really kind of a front runner
Hmm.
in a lot of ways.
And he was definitely an innovator, and what he's done for the
Mhm.
tech space cannot be argued, in any way, shape, or form. And I was thinking last night.
Whether you like Linus or not, he's big,
Mhm.
and this is not gonna go away for him, I
And
don't
what
think.
what I think is, what, like, like, I was thinking last night. I don't know how
Mm.
many times when I was doing, like, tech stuff at the computer store, what I used to be a tech for, and working there, I can't think of how many times I've actually referred back to some of his videos to
Oh, sure.
question something, that I was like, I wonder if I could find it. And I don't know. I mean, it's just, I'm having a hard time with it. I mean, even though I've got a long time in the tech industry, in the tech world,
Sure, sure.
uh, that I'm even having a hard time with it, because as far as I can remember, Linus has always been this upstanding kind of cat, and like I said, it's all hearsay.
He's
We don't
definitely
have any.
drawn some criticism,
Yeah,
right?
we,
We
we
weren't
we don't
there.
have a lot of hardcore true admissions and, that kind of stuff to solidify some of the
Mhm.
accusations that are going on. And so I'm only going on that, but I'm really bummed. I mean, this is kind of not a, it's a saddened thing for the tech space, tech world.
Right,
So,
yeah,
but
and, as more things come out, we're gonna, do our best to report on it with integrity and talk about it with, sensitivity and kindness and be thorough. But
Yeah, it's just
I
like I
think
said,
I think the investigations
need to be
are
done.
far from over.
Oh,
They
they
are
are far
far
from
from
over, and they
over.
need to be done and completed before anybody can come from anything. But I will say
Mhm.
this: in the end, uh, I like, and Steve Burke made sure to mention this in a lot of his reviews as well. When he did his actual video, I feel the same way. I hope that they can come back from this and rebuild and be a better person and a better community leader.
Yeah,
I think that's important because it shows
right.
that mistakes, as egregious as some of them may have been or considered to be, um,
Mhm.
uh, are certainly resolutable, or is that the right word? There can be a resolution had,
Resolvable? Yeah,
resolvable.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a great
Mhm.
resolution that can come from it, and together as a community we can grow from it. And I'm hoping that
Yeah.
happens more than anything. So
Yeah, I mean, I certainly and the last thing I wanna say is, if you're gonna make a public apology, Linus, please do better than what has come out so far.
for real, own it, disclose a clear and concise plan
Right.
of action and implementation.
Mhm.
So, and I think the new CEO, in their reaction of "What do we do now?" that video that's titled
Mhm.
"What do we do now?" I think that's part of what he was trying to get across. Um,
I could definitely see that, this is definitely this is definitely a bruise on the reputation of, by extension, all the brands that are under the umbrella of the LMG.
Absolutely, all the brands, everything is affected 100% across the board. In fact, I think even some of their product supporters and like Intel, all those guys might be damaged a little bit because of their natural relationship they've had with him.
Sure, sure.
So
And
there's potential.
I was taking a look at the impact that, the stories swirling around right now are having.
Hmm.
And depending on where you source from, it seems like he's getting about 50K new folks a day, uh, minus tech tips and stuff. But he is hemorrhaging right now. And it might not look like a lot yet, but
Yeah,
what you're
by
seeing
hemorrhaging, you
is
mean
people
he's losing?
he's losing
Oh,
viewership,
yeah.
but it's not readily apparent because he's got so many new people coming in,
Hmm.
but you're getting influx and
Outflux.
outflux.
You're not going to see
Yeah,
where that. You're not going to see where that peak.
yeah,
Peaks at. Oh, sorry, where that peaks at, and the valley. Dips too.
mhm,
So, and
yeah.
either
And
way.
again, I'll come in with a hot take here.
Oh, somebody in the comment, Steve in the comment said they lost 6,000 on float plane members
Yeah,
and
I
almost
mean,
300,000 in damages.
yeah,
That's just mind blowing. When you look at it that way, that is just mind blowing to lose
sure,
300,000 in a matter of days.
right. And
Wow.
so think about it like this. If the allegations are true,
Hmm.
then I do not feel bad for him. I feel bad for the, first and foremost, Miss Madison. I feel
Hmm.
bad for
And every
his
other employee
employees that are
that
gonna
was
be
made to feel
right,
that way. Yeah.
right. If you screw up so bad that, not only the, you know, victim of your actions, but if you're hurting innocent people that work for you because you make a you know, egregious misstep like this, I have pity. I don't necessarily say I'd have sympathy.
Sure. That's
I
fair
don't
enough.
want bad things to happen to him,
Right.
but,
But then
hey,
also,
man,
this is the
there's
consequences
still
of your
so
behavior.
much that's gonna come out about this, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we're going on for this is going to go on for months. I can't see this.
Oh, wait, oh,
What?
wow. Steve said that there was a recording brought forward of the team belittling her.
Holy crap! More and more is wow. More and more is just rolling out.
Steve, do us a favor, and if you have the link handy, drop it in the chat here. And if you don't,
They were asking her to stand on a table and dance, shaking her hips.
Oh man, just
what
that's if that's true, it's disgusting.
That is absolutely
It's
abhorrent. That is
unprofessional.
100% abhorrent. And that's one of the things I was going to bring up too, in when we were talking earlier, is in some of the videos you see how they play really loosey goosey, and I understand they want to do it to make to bring levity into the video. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
But if that atmosphere actually goes on into the actual administrative end of a company, then I can see where these situations definitely can arise. Because if they're doing that on video with the big boss, then that sets a total tone that is like that.
Did somebody get modded? I saw a comment pop up and then go away.
I don't know.
I don't know
if hang on. I will.
All right. Well, you look at that. I'm going
It's
to add
because
a little bit here.
I don't think it's hidden anymore now. It's he said Hisham said what WTF and woman abuse.
Yeah, women abuse is what I thought I saw, and I don't see it anymore. Was it the all caps? What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Did it get botted?
Yeah, I think so. I don't understand how to use it now.
I wonder if there was a trip word in there.
Yeah, probably the woman abuse thing.
Yeah. Okay. So here's
Hisham, if you want to rephrase that, go ahead, so it'll post again.
Yeah. Yeah. Just for transparency, anybody watching the rebroadcast, Hisham said women abuse, all caps. So we want to make sure.
Josh,
anyway,
what's up, Josh? I see you in the chat. He says, the on. Yeah.
Can you can somebody explain that comment? I don't get it.
Yeah, I need clarification on that too. But so I mean, like I was saying, if you're setting that bar from the top on that type of atmosphere, I could see that happen. And actually, I don't know if you remember, but a few years back, Google had issues like that here in their Seattle offices, where there was a lot of cavorting and carry on and stuff like that. The only LTT thing I watch is the wine show.
Male dominated in all different ways, and I want to carefully tread here and say one thing. No matter what we saw on video, if she's making jokes, if she's engaging in that, at the end of the day, she still works for Linus.
Correct.
Or did.
Yep.
So we do not know what led to the production of the video. There's a huge power imbalance there. Linus is huge. Linus was her employer. So we don't know if she was coerced into, playing a character, going along with it. I want to find out about this video that Steve's talking about, or audio recording, rather.
Josh just said Blizzard Games, Google, Apple, Twitter all had those issues, and that's correct. Right. That is 100% correct.
This behavior is unfortunately very common, and that's why I wanted to talk about it now. Because we need to get it out there. We as a community need to do better and not contribute to this kind of culture.
Well, there comes
and
a certain
calling it out. That's all we can do now.
In retrospect, there comes a certain time when you get to be as large as these companies that a heavy degree of professionalism needs to be implemented. And if you don't, then that kind of sort of is what happens. This kind of stuff will bite you in the butt because, like I said, it sets a different tone and atmosphere. And then then the damage control is so huge
to protect your people.
Correct.
And this doesn't sound like people are getting protected at all.
Correct.
Whether it's common or not doesn't mean you get a pass in your company.
Absolutely, and in fact, when it's you, the big guy, doing it, the buck's got to stop there. So, but anyhow,
Well,
we
let's wrap that up
yep, let's move on and get on
move on.
to the actual topic, the second topic. So, the second topic that I want to talk about is actually a cool tool that I discovered for content creators and anybody you can actually use it to do different functions on your computer you can program in, and it is called Deckboard.
Nice.
And for those of you who are watching, you see I just brought it up on the stream here. And what Deckboard is it's a tool that you can download. If you go down to the bottom when you go to download, you can see it's available. It's cross-platform. It's on Windows, Mac OS, and Linux. They have 64-bit, 32-bit, and it even comes as a snap. And what it does is it uses WebSockets to connect through OBS. That's how you can change scenes and do all that kind of stuff. But you can actually use it for video editing as well. You can use it for Jesse, Steve just said that he sent you the link in your Discord because he says he can't post it in the chat. So,
are links disabled by the bots?
Probably.
Okay.
So anyhow,
once we get to review that, put it in the show notes, please, Alex.
Yeah, I will. I definitely will. And so you can fully customize it from actually changing the logos and the icons to different things, and it uses keyboard macros. You can assign that. Also, it's got already macros enabled for Steam and Twitter. Twitter and Twitch already in there. Also, Steam macros as well, I believe. There's also OBS macros already in there. There's tons. So it's actually it's made my life a lot easier instead of having to fumble and find those little tiny buttons in OBS that I can just actually use my tablet or my phone. And so I really enjoy it. It's very powerful tool. So I would suggest to anybody who's a content creator to go actually give that a look and see what you guys think about it. And there's several different tools out there like that. There isn't just that one.
Oh, and it looks like it runs on mobiles too, both iOS and Android.
Yes.
In addition to Windows, Mac, and Linux.
Oh yeah. I forgot to mention that you can get it on the Play Store and also the App Store. Yeah.
Okay, so it's, would you call it like a software-based replacement for something like an Elgato Stream Deck?
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. It's like exactly. Yeah. It's one in the same as like only Elgato I think has like 300 and Steve said he's going to add it to the Zero Tool flat pack section. That's cool. Yeah, it's actually really Elgato I think has like 300 different presets that already come with it, I think, or that you can download or whatever. They're already made. These you actually have to create yourself, but it's a GUI point and click setup, easy to use. I mean, it took me. And you can create multiple boards too. That's the cool part. Like I have one board that I use for my actual reviews, and then I have one that we use for the podcast, and you could interchange in between the boards on the fly just by swiping left or swiping right.
Gotcha.
On the actual board.
Josh and Steve mentioned that it does not work on Wayland, and that's important.
Where did they mention that? 'Cause I don't see that in the chat.
It's in the chat.
Oh yeah, okay. Yep, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah, they both mentioned it. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, so I forgot to mention that it does not work on Wayland. I am not on Wayland. I'm still on Exorg.
Same.
Yeah, so anyhow, that's something that you guys can feel free to use and try and test out and let me know what you guys think, because it's made a huge difference in my life. It really has. And like I said, there are other alternatives out there, but I don't know how many of them have actual Wayland support or not, or if any of them do. So that's one where you test at your own discretion.
Right. And when you're doing bleeding edge stuff like Wayland, I think, for a lot
actually,
of people, is still bleeding edge.
yeah, Josh just said, well, it can, but not stable on Wayland. Hyperland is the only compositor with key support. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so anyhow, if it works on Wayland and it's hit and miss, then it is what it is, I guess. So, but that's my tool tip, for the week.
Awesome.
How about you?
Let's do an OS
Spotlight?
spotlight for a second, and we're gonna sort of lay the foundation for the review coming out on Monday.
All right.
But what
So,
I'm gonna say now is I'm having a little bit of a love affair again with Ubuntu-based distros.
mhm,
And I went back to my roots in preparation for my first Linux Tube review,
mhm.
and I am having such a good time with Ubuntu 23.04.
23.04.
Mhm.
All right. You want me to pull it up now on the screen?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, there we go. It's pulled up. 20. Well, when you go to the Ubuntu page, you will see that it's the download the desktop, and it comes up with 2204 LTS first, but then 2304 is right below it, so you can click the link down there to download it. They
Yeah, we're
don't
not getting
have any.
screenshots and stuff like we used to.
Yeah, they changed their web design, so you can't get screenshots. I was looking for it to try to do it, but
Yeah,
unfortunately we couldn't find them.
I think that stopped when they changed from the orange vibes to the purple vibes
To
a
the
couple
purple
years
vibes,
back.
yeah, yep.
And
Which I gotta
so
admit, I wasn't a big fan of the orange, but I do dig the purple.
you remember back in the days when it was brown and orange?
I do. I hated that. I hated that. Oh God, I hated that. It literally was. It's really funny because as I talk about Ubuntu, it's
See,
Ubuntu. Ubuntu to
we can
me,
get into this in a minute, but go ahead, please.
Ubuntu from back in the day, way in the way back machine, so to speak. Uh,
Hmm.
it brought Linux to the forefront and made it public, in a way that
Yeah,
was done for that was never done before. And in doing so, it created the graphical user environment, that it set up and all the package management and stuff like that. And so for me, Josh says he misses the brown. For me, I always thought, and I remember when I first looked at it, I was like, this is so cool, but so ugly. you, you know, the colors, I'm
yeah,
like, wow, those are some wow colors. It's like, ooh, what I mean? But it was very rudimentary in its form, and it stuck because, like, with branding, like in talks with people that are talking about doing artwork for the channel and stuff. You get stuck in that color branding thing where that's got to be recognizable because it's always about colors. And I
sure,
think
sure.
that became where they got stuck. Is that was their brand, those colors.
Maybe.
It immediately drew, it was recognizable. Oh, that's Ubuntu. I mean, it didn't
Well,
matter
yeah,
where you
it
were.
was
You could have been in
polarizing, man. You either
yeah,
loved it or
or
hated it.
hated it. Exactly. And so for me, I always felt like they could have done better on that, but then they just got stuck. And so when they did that purple, and I saw that first purple, man, I was like, oh, this is so much better. They're finally coming around. It took them like almost 30 years to do it, but they did it.
Hmm. There have definitely been some hits and misses all over the Ubuntu universe.
Hmm.
So things that I noticed with 2304,
Hmm.
Pipewire is much more integrated now all over the audio landscape, and I have been a champion of Pipewire for years now. It was one of the biggest reasons that I stuck with Zero for as long as I did because
Hmm.
the implementation of Pipewire in Zero Linux was very, very good.
Right.
Um, and
Rock solid.
as Pipewire continues to grow, what you're finding is that the audio management is very, very similar to the easy point and click
Mm-hmm.
Mac OS experience when it comes to managing your connections, being able to reroute things from a GUI. You're not
Mm-hmm.
pulling up, tools like Carla or a Patch Bay.
Right.
Even if you have to mess with Jack now, I mess with Jack to do the audio routing for my guitar effects when I'm practicing at home
Right.
or band rehearsal and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Pipewire lets you just handle Jack in the back end. I don't have to pull up Jack D anymore. I'm not messing with PAVU
Mm-hmm.
or PACTL. I just, if I need Jack, I can go into the program, tell it to grab Jack, and it's handled.
Yeah. I've noticed similar
And this,
with Pipewire, and
and that's not even, Ubuntu Studio. And I'll say now, I definitely plan on an Ubuntu Studio review
as a musician,
because
I'm
even
digging that.
under, yeah, it's great. It was my first several attempts at
Mm-hmm.
becoming a content creator, but Jack was always the hurdle for me.
Right. Well,
And,
and
Pipewire made that go away.
I'm so happy for that, because as many of the longtime users that will tune in later, or even some of the newer ones that are just more up to date on audio, because they're an audio file of whatever sort,
Mhm.
they'll be happy to hear that finally Pipewire is making enough advances in the actual audio section of Linux, because it's been a hot freaking mess for a long time. The audio has always been something that seems to have been hit or miss uh, in the Linux world, and just garbage for so many times. So many instances I've had audio crap out. Well, I mean, like this morning. You know what I'm saying? It's always, once if we can get audio rock solid on Linux across the board, um, it'll make a huge difference. As far as use and ease of usability, for especially for new people, which is why I think the Ubuntu one is awesome, because that is a great distribution for that.
Well, thank you. I'm readjusting. The dog's having a day. Can you guys hear me again?
Oh, you're solid. You're booming. Good.
Okay. Cool, cool, cool. And it's popular to let Ubuntu be the Nickelback of the Linux world.
Why does
if you
that's
know,
the
you
thing I
know.
don't know. I understand, and that's funny coming from another musician, because we all know what that means, right? but the truth
Yeah.
is, not everybody loves Arch. Not everybody loves Debian. Not everybody loves Ubuntu. You know, I, I don't understand the ire that Ubuntu draws like that. Is it because it's a corporation that's backing
That
it and that
doesn't
kind of
help.
stuff?
I think there's misunderstandings on what free versus open source means.
Right.
I think there are so many different takes on, is Ubuntu good? Is Ubuntu bad? Ubuntu is an OS. It is, corporate backed, but
Hmm.
so is RHEL. And you see how that's going.
Yeah.
I love Arch, and I see you, Steve, and we're gonna talk in a second. I love Arch. I enjoy working with Arch from an administrative perspective much more than Ubuntu.
Because
But
a lot of it is what, locked down. I mean,
no, what I mean is with Arch, it is easier to dig under the hood.
right. That's what I meant. Is it's harder to get to
It
stuff.
is easier to do that.
Yeah.
With Ubuntu, you can still do it.
Hmm.
You often have to go through more steps,
More
more
hoops.
workarounds.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't enjoy dealing with Debian packages.
Josh was saying that distros really f up the environment variables in Pulse Audio Works when they seem to forget how they did that.
Man, Josh came in swinging.
Yeah, he did. Oh wow. Yes, he did. And
Um,
but he's not too wrong on that at all.
no, environment variables, if you aren't consistent, you're gonna have a bad time.
Yeah. Yeah,
But,
I agree. But I
yeah,
definitely, like I said, yeah, I was gonna say go back. Go ahead.
going back to what I was saying about Arch. Here's the thing. Arch is very, very easy to do whatever you want.
Extremely. And
And
I would
that's
almost
that's
argue,
it's a double-edged sword.
exactly. I was going to say I would almost argue to a fault,
Mhm.
because I know when I first played with Arch, I broke stuff that I didn't really mean to break. You know what I'm saying? I was like, how the hell did I do that? You know what I'm saying? Because wasn't even aware that I did it. So,
Mhm. So, here's the thing, and this is gonna be covered in much more depth when I start doing all these reviews with you, and
hmm
thank you for inviting me to that.
oh, you're welcome.
If you don't wanna spend time customizing because you've got things to do,
hmm
you need to spin something up quick, you know that the packages are gonna be relatively stable, if not, the newest and most feature rich.
hmm
The Debian base is safe, reproducible, is generally reliable. If you
Yeah, but the thing that a lot
you
of
know,
people have issues with, well, Debian based, but if like the Debian actual installer for Debian, a lot it's in
right,
curses, and a lot of people have a hard time with that.
right.
And
Ubuntu
so,
makes it easy, it makes it accessible,
right,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
exactly. And in fact, I think in the 2304, their installer is gorgeous.
It is the first memorable visual change that I've seen in a while, and
hmm
love it or hate it, they've taken a lot of design cues, it would seem, from, the Windows 11 space, the Mac OS space.
hmm
It looks polished,
hmm
and it's really feeling like a premium product. And I have a feeling the fact that now there's Ubuntu Pro on the horizon, that you can get, enterprise support. So Dell still offers pre-installed Ubuntu,
hmm
you know, and to that end, I'm going to leave with one other thing. One big reason to consider a Debian base is because, proprietary software is often easier to get on Ubuntu based distros. And yes, you have AUR, yes, you have RPM packages, but if you go to Google to download Chrome, they've got a Debian package right there.
That is the
You
one thing.
download it, you install it, you go. And that's the experience that people coming from Windows are looking for. They don't want to extract stuff.
Uh,
They don't want to do that. They don't want to open a terminal. They want to click stuff, install it, and have it work.
Very true. And one of the reasons why I love Josh is because Josh is almost like a walking encyclopedia of Linux. He knows a lot. He is very
Knows a lot
knowledgeable.
about a lot.
Yes, and he actually just brought to light in the chat that Debian uses 4 different installers. They have the incursors, incursus. They have deb
Mhm,
install, Calamaris, and dbootstrap. I didn't know about the dbootstrap. I knew about the deb install and Calamaris, but I
mhm.
in the incursus. So that's interesting. And
Yep.
also, um, Hisham, who I don't know if a lot of people will know, but he's actually the developer of Laya Linux. He's in the chat too, and he said that dependency cycle is a problem.
Yep. Uh, I definitely remember, back in the 5.04 and,
hmm
5.10 and the really early days,
hmm
if you remember those releases, how's
hmm
your back today? Mine hurts.
yeah, yeah.
uh, but we didn't call it dependency cycles. Most of the people I knew back in those days, and still,
hmm
we called it dependency hell, because that's what it was. You'd fix one dependency, you'd break another,
Mm-hmm.
and then the cycle, you just never would get going.
Yeah.
It,
Yes, Josh. It is Lie
Hisham, is that
Linux.
what you're Hisham, is that what you're talking about with dependency
Yeah,
cycles? I think
actually, I
that's
was going
what
to
you
say he
mean.
just said he has a system running Debian that hosts his Minecraft server, and he's trying to get Java set up on there, but the JRE packages that are all required for configuration are DPKG, and he's
Mhm.
relying on different JRE packages for the configuration first. So yeah, it's definitely, that sounds a lot uh like the dependency hell, but to be fair, you experience that on not just Debian, but you can experience that in Arch as well as
Oh, yeah.
Fedora. I mean, that's the one thing that Linux is known for, is you can get into dependency hell really quick. It can be a nightmare.
And that ultimately, it's good that you mentioned that it's not distro or base specific,
Mm-mm.
and it was ultimately the reason that my love with Arch, it's still a love, but
Josh,
it's why
Josh
I'm
said,
not on an Arch based distro right now.
Josh said, sounds like the reason Docker was made.
It's
Because with
Hisham,
Docker,
it's not even unupdated. It's because, rolling release distros will actually suffer from breakages more because everything's updating all the time.
yeah, Josh just said, I'd still rather write dependency hell over DLL hell. I do remember those days in Windows.
100%.
Yes.
100%.
Oh yes, yes, yes. At least with DLLs, especially most of your package manager will tell you the dependencies that are required, or you could go to the GitHub and figure that out right away. You know what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
yeah. Whereas with DLL, that's usually hidden somewhere, and there's no documentation ever written on it because it's all proprietary. So
Oh,
yeah, I definitely
you
don't miss
know,
those days.
maybe I'm oversimplifying it, but I've definitely gotten Windows error messages that were the equivalent of, damn it, something happened. I don't know, man.
Oh, dude, you just flagged me back to a flashback. So I remember I was working on a Windows 7 computer at one of the shops that I was working at. I worked at two different shops. I bounced between them. And I got this error code that I was like, what the, I can't remember what it was, but I got this error code. And I'm like, what the heck is this code? I've never seen it before. And so I tried Googling it. I tried calling several other different shops. They had no idea. So I called the 1-800 support, which I think I've done like 5 times ever in my lifetime for Windows. I called their 1-800 number, right, for support back in the day. I paid the freaking $20 that it was to be able to do this, right? I
Mhm.
called this number. I got to the initial person, told them the error code. They're like, we've never heard of this code. What is this? And so I'm like, okay, well, we're going to have to escalate this to a tier 2 support. It went all the way up to a tier 3. I was basically talking to the department head. They had no idea what in the hell this code was. So, and it was a DLL error code. It was like, what the hell? It's like, it's, if they didn't know, how are we supposed to figure this out?
Yeah.
I remember I literally took, it was a span of 5 hours to come up bunk, where basically what I had to do is reinstall Windows. There was no fixing it.
Well, I think there are definitely situations on Windows and Linux for sure
Mm-hmm.
where you can hit a point that troubleshooting is a waste of time and you should just nuke it and start over.
Well, sometimes the
Sometimes it's more efficient to go that way.
yeah, but when you got in my situation, uh, Hisham's very correct on that. He says programs modify DLLs to their liking, and that's true, and that causes a lot of problems. It really
Mhm.
does, because it creates internal conflicts or something that you're not even aware of. Hell, the other softwares aren't even aware of.
Right.
But sometimes, you know, when you get a customer that brings in their box to you or their laptop, and they're depending on you to fix it and not lose their stuff, because that's what they're almost inherently the most afraid of, because they've had it happen to them just through the BSOD, the blue screen of death that's happened in Windows, and or that freaking that nice little thing where it flashes where it doesn't even read your hard drive because Grub just got corrupted, you know, or didn't compile right or whatever, you know. I mean, that's a trigger that's a trigger point of fear for a lot of customers. So
Mhm.
when you get something like that you can't completely, you know, have an answer to, and you tell the customer, I'm sorry, but I don't have an answer to this. I called these people, spoke to these people, they don't have an answer. Then it's like, what the hell, you know?
Right. Sure.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, definitely doing a nuke and pave is definitely sometimes more efficient to do, but that's always also in a paid environment the last thing you want to do. So RTFM, these fixed
Oof.
things go RTFM. Yeah.
And see, Steve, Steve, I love you, but that vibe is why I left Gen 2. Because I used to hang out in the RTFM, eh, or the RTFM. I'm saying what I'm reading.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to hang out in the IRC chats for Gen 2. I used to hang out on the forums. And
Hmm.
as a new user, you know, maybe I wasn't ready for Gen 2 like I thought I was. And self reliant, sure. But if you're going to have a community, if you open the forum for questions and then sucker punch people for asking questions,
I get
that's,
that. I can get that.
you don't, why?
I can get that, but then also I'd also like to add pause, that
Sure.
that we should be encouraging new to Linux users to actually. I don't know if it's because they're not aware that you can do it and get answers where you couldn't with Windows, but they should also try to.
Windows doesn't encourage exploration.
Exactly, and also looking up solutions. You know, they're like that's what I'm getting at. Is a lot of folks, I don't think when they're migrating from Windows to Linux, they aren't aware that 9 times out of 10 their problem has been experienced by others and people have
Mhm.
documented it, and what the resolution is, because that's what our community is. Whereas with Microsoft, they just want you to pay to get it fixed.
Right.
You know,
And
and
yes,
so and
you've
so I think that it's a mindset that needs to change. But like you're saying, you have to go about it a much better way than just
right,
RTFM, bro.
right. And you know, Gen 2 is much more than that. To answer Josh's, hey, the Gen 2 guys are amazing. Gen 2 is fantastic. It is so customizable. It's powerful.
Oh,
They're a titan.
it's literally the epitome of what you put in it is what you get out of it.
Oh yeah,
And
it's a more accessible LFS,
and
really,
I'm
if
going to
you want to
actually
go.
pose a question, because it just dawned on me in what you were just saying. You know, everybody makes fun of the Arch guys because of the I use Arch BTW, right?
Oh, it's fun.
Are
I
are
love participating
I
in that.
understand it, but aren't Gentoo guys in that same vein though?
Oh, 100%.
So which people are more, more elitist? The Gentoo guys or the Arch guys? That's a pretty
Oh
interesting
well,
question.
Gentoo review, Alex. Is that going to be me
Uh,
or you? I
I
think we could do
actually
that.
I actually did I did a Red Core Gentoo review. But I think Josh is wanting me to actually do a review of actual Gentoo itself.
Oh, I got an idea. Do you
Hmm.
want me to ask you offline or suggest it here?
Go ahead. I'm transparent, bro.
All right. Let's set a sub goal to be determined later.
Hmm.
And when we hit it, why don't we do a special episode and we'll out to a capture card, we'll each spin up a machine and live stream doing a stage 2 and just go for it live.
Oh my God, dude, that would be like a freaking 9-hour stream.
Oh no. We'll get it started and then do a video follow up. But
Okay.
walk a user through. Okay, we're booted up, and here's where we go. No, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Just leave it running all night.
Yeah,
Or maybe we could. Maybe we could. You know what?
Oh,
Just a
Joshua,
full-on install party.
that would be awesome.
You know what? Everybody, get your meds, get your energy drinks, get a blanket. We're installing Gen 2.
Break out the pizza and the Mountain Dew, right?
Oh man.
Oh,
we got double Josh action. Welcome, Joshua Hurst.
Here's what's going on. Funny conversation is because he tried asking questions after building a computer and installing Linux for the first time. I tried finding the answer but couldn't.
That does happen.
Yep. Got so much literal hate for asking the question. Looks like you got baptized by fire, Mr. Joshua. I mean, that does happen. And sadly enough, I'm sorry that happened to you, but know that you could always ask me, and I can help you as much as I can. If not, we can point you in the right direction. There's also my community on the Discord server. I don't know if you've been there yet.
Drop it in the chat.
But yeah, it's very helpful for people doing that kind of stuff. In fact, I have several developers in there, including Hisham. He's one of them that's in there. And, we're definitely always there to help people out.
100%.
Yeah. In fact, I get a lot of compliments. I know I say it all the time, but I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of that. I get lots of compliments on our Discord and how friendly and warm and welcome and inviting it is. It's not as active as many other content creators Discord, but it's definitely you can get your questions asked there. My admin team's pretty Johnny on the spot. That's right, and Steve's there wanting to get his ego boost. He's also in there as well.
Yep, he sure is.
It's also in the description. The link to the Discord is in the description of the.
Oh yeah.
Thing,
I'm there. Steve's there. A lot of us are there.
Josh is at charge for Gen 2 support. That's awesome.
All right. So what I'm hearing is, maybe we just burn a weekend and we do a stream that doesn't stop until one of us gets it installed and usable.
I'm gonna have to sharpen my chops because it's probably been about 7 years. Well, I'd say no, maybe 5 years for me since I did Gen 2. But yeah, that sounds like a challenge, and we're definitely gonna have to have old Josh on with that one. Are you willing for that?
To have Josh on?
What? My fish tank aquatic says he tried. I will fix the link in the description. Then if it's not working, I will definitely fix it after the show. I'll edit it and fix it.
Cool.
Thanks for bringing that to my attention.
I don't want to be too abrupt. How long is the new stream you started? Where are we at? Are we overtime?
No, we still got a minute to go.
Over on the hour.
No, we're not slightly over. According to my time, we got a minute.
Good. I wanted to make sure that everybody got the full hour that they signed up to get, because we definitely had some gremlins in the audio stream this morning.
Right. I just want to make sure that they're getting what they're for sure getting their money's worth. By God.
Oh boy, yeah! What a lively episode this was. We've had, we dealt with.
We ran the full gambit of emotional roller coaster.
Oh yeah, we felt our feelings today.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So go ahead. Any thoughts, suggestions, anything you want to put out there?
No, I'm intending to do my first review release on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just so excited to be part of this project. Steve, thanks for joining us. Both the Joshes, Hisham,
all you guys.
Aquatics. Like this is super cool. Yeah. We can definitely address maybe allowing verified people to put links in, but I do think links are somewhat limited. in the chat.
Right. I don't. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that
Right, we've got to
because
balance it so that people can't just show
right.
up dropping garbage.
Right, exactly. Because we do get that from time to time. But anyhow, so what I want to talk about, and my ending message of the day is that
Send us off.
our community is important to me, and I know it is to you, and I know it is important to all the people in the chat because they wouldn't be here if it wasn't.
Without a
So,
community, we have no reason to be doing what we're doing.
and so, what I would like to say is that we need to love our community. We need to improve our community because if we're not improving, then we're regressing. And stagnancy is an issue. And I always try to put my best foot forward for the community because it's important, and we have new people more and more coming to Linux every day. And we just really need to embrace them, welcome them, and culture them up appropriately instead of running them off. And I want to be an advocate for that, and I want to definitely tell people that yes, you are most welcome to Linux. You may experience some harshness, but we're growing, we're getting better. Weather the fight, and just hang in there. It'll get better. It can only get better.
Use newbie distros, distro hop, get mad, go back to Windows, come back, do whatever you got to do, and when you're ready to be here, we're going to welcome you.
And ask the questions. Just ask the questions. Don't be afraid.
And ask the questions.
You will get only, you'll get certain answers that are great, and certain answers that are not so great. Ignore the hate and keep moving till you get what it is that you need. All right?
Yep.
So with that, I'm going to say to everybody, you guys do what you do. Keep on Linuxing. Stay blessed, and above all, have a great day.
See you next week, guys.
Bye.